Okay, we're live. I'm starting the live stream a little bit early today and about 2 days late on today's episode of the Unstuck Sessions live stream slash podcast. We're going to talk about the traffic triangle and how I used it to basically leverage a budget of $0 into some pretty good business for Coach Moe Athletics. And so that's what I have on today's episode. This episode's for you if you're a business owner that's trying to figure out how to actually integrate a social media strategy to help promote your business, product, or service. So go ahead and tap in. That's what we got today. I'll get to you guys after the intro. Peace. What's up, y'all? My name is Brian. I am a full stack marketer, and my job, my mission, my goal is to help business owners figure out the complex world of this marketing thing. There's so many options out there, and it's really easy to get sidetracked. And so, I exist to help you figure out what your strategy is and help you implement it. And if your marketing hits a bottleneck, or a sticking point, as I like to call it, I'm here as a consultant to help get you unstuck. My goal is I want to give you what I know and let you choose your own adventure. You can implement it yourself, or you can bring me aboard and I can help you out with it. But really, my goal and my mission on this podcast and live stream is to educate and basically talk about, share my experiences with marketing from things that I've actually done. And so it took me a while to really conceptualize what this thing was. And I believe it's Ryan David Moran. I think it's Ryan David Moran. I was listening to on YouTube, and he essentially described the marketing method that I'm going to describe here today. And he called it the traffic triangle. I call it my marketing traffic triangle. It's basically the same thing, and marketers rip each other off all the time. But more or less, I already had the concept. I just didn't have a name for it. And so but this is how I took basically a micro budget at Coach Moe Athletics and leveraged the free platforms that are out here to drive traffic and establish some of our programs. And so that's what I'm going to share with you here today. Um, First things first, I need to go into a little bit of my background with it and doing the marketing for CMA, and then I'll kind of go into what the details of it are. Because I started it on Friday, but I really wasn't in the right headspace to have a full blown conversation about it. So, and hopefully you can steal this information that I'm presenting and implement it within your own business, product, or service. And if not, you can always call me. Or email me or reach out to me, whatever method you see fit. My contact stuff, my social media stuff is right there on the bottom of the screen, and I'm probably going to run a quick banner so that you can see my website, so you can reach out to get in contact with me. So there's my website. All right. So first things first, and I don't really have any housekeeping or anything, so I'm getting right into the meat of the topic. Um, so with my marketing journey with Coach Mo Athletics, essentially it boiled down to this. Um, my boy had a training business, and I asked him if he had a website. He did. I looked at the website and said, "Hey, let me help you out with this website." And that's what it started out as. And it blossomed into doing the website, managing a lot of the social media, doing video work, redesigning the website, and setting up our payment systems and a lot of other things in terms of programming. And so that's what it ballooned into. And so I wear a lot of hats as the chief operating officer of Coach Mo Athletics and the creative director. And so I've learned a lot of things. I've had to put a lot of things in my toolkit, and some things worked and some things didn't. So what I want to do is walk you through the things that worked and talk about the things that didn't. Because here's the reality. When you see somebody just sharing all their successes with you, one of the challenges is um, just because they had success doing things in a certain manner or certain pattern or style does not mean that you will have success doing it. It's also beneficial to learn from where they didn't complete the mission or they failed so that you can learn from some of their failures too. And so I'm going to share some of those with you. I'm always leery about people who don't share what their stumbling blocks were and some of the mistakes that they made along the way, because for me, it's more valuable to learn from the mistakes. So that is what it is. So essentially, Coach Moe Athletics is athletic training business. My best friend is a certified speed and agility specialist. He's one of the few in the area, and we really hit an affinity for training basketball players, getting their footwork right, and working on a lot of their skills, plus their speed and agility. And we're trying to add a strength component to it. We haven't had. We've tested out a couple of iterations, and so we're trying to figure out the best way to implement that piece. But um, long story short, we created a basketball development program called the Basketball Academy. And with Basketball Academy, it's really like a school. You know, our mission is to bring in kids, regardless of skill level. Now they have to have the desire to want to get better, but skill level doesn't really matter as much. And bring them into our program and teach them the fundamentals of being a solid basketball player, and also how to be a better teammate and a better citizen, and a lot of other things that go along with that. And so that's kind of what our value proposition is. Give us a kid that wants to play, and we'll teach them the game. And so Basketball Academy is essentially a year-round basketball camp. Now, it seems like that's a really simple concept to explain, but it took a couple of years to land on the way to explain exactly what the service was. And a lot of it has to do with how my mind works, but also we do a lot more than what that mission statement is. But the reality is, we want people to come in the door. And so we can't tell you everything that we do off the rip. We have to, give you something that sounds like great value, and then bring you in the door, and then reveal the rest of the value to you. And so that was a hard lesson to learn. And me trying to explain everything that Academy was turned into me explaining everything that it was not. But anyway, long story short, that is the program. And when we first started out, all I knew was how to design websites. I didn't know how to run cameras. I didn't know how to. Knew about recording audio. I had years of experience working on radio and stuff, but cameras and all the other stuff, that was all new to me. Lighting and all that other stuff was pretty new to me. And so I had to learn a lot of things. And then I had to learn um, how to run ads on Google, and I had to learn how to make videos for YouTube and things along those lines. And so there's a lot of things I had to put in my toolkit as I went along. And as a business owner, if you're handling the marketing, or you're at a point where where you don't have enough money to hire somebody to do the marketing, you're going to have to put on some things, and you're going to put some things in your toolkit. And so I want to give you the basics of the stuff that I learned, that I put in my toolkit, and a system that I kind of came up with to implement it. So first things first. The concept I came up with to drive traffic on a micro budget was, I now call it the marketing traffic triangle. Before, it was just me doing marketing for Coach Moe Athletics, and then the stuff I do with I Sell Words to help businesses and whatnot. And so the initial challenge was we didn't have any money. We had to get clients, and we had word of mouth, but word of mouth does so much, and we needed a larger megaphone to yell into. And so I had to kind of cobble together a marketing strategy while I was learning. And so I was building while I was learning stuff. And that's not the best place to be, but it's a place to be. Sometimes you just got to jump in the pool and try to swim so you can learn it. And so I'm gonna talk about the different sides of the marketing triangle, and then talk about where your business fits in, and maybe give some examples of what this thing looks like. So your first part, your first side of it, and it's not, here's the thing, there is no way to construct this perfectly, like where you do part one, part two, and part three. You're going to have different sides. You're going to have things that you're stronger at and things that you're weaker at. And so just, it's kind of choose your own adventure, but I'm giving you three sides of it so you can structure it a little bit. So the first side I'm going to talk about is your awareness piece. These are your general kind of social media posts. Um, things that let people know that you exist and that you provide a service and what that service is and what that service entails. And you giving them basic information about how to reach you, how to get, what what the scope of your services are, how to get in contact with you, website, social media, things along those lines. Basically, the awareness piece is letting the world know that you exist. And so you can do that a variety of ways. The one I'm always going to go back to is Facebook and Instagram. These posts don't, you can kind of get all the information you need by scanning them. Sometimes they might have a little bit more information, but really it's, hey, we're here. Anything that involves sales. I'm doing a Black Friday ad for Coach Moe Athletics. That is really awareness. That's an awareness piece. It's to let people know, hey, we have a product and we're going to be discounting it, or we're going to be running a special promotion. Things that let people know that you exist and you're offering to do business. And so a lot of businesses get stuck at this point where it's nothing but social media posts and there's no longer conversation. They're not really creating any kind of longer form conversation off of that. And so the next part of this I'm going into, but when you are really good at awareness, you're great at promoting. That's what you find with a lot of social media influencers. And that's why a lot of social media influencers don't have they have the followers but not the money, because they're missing the other two sides of the traffic triangle. People know they exist and they know what they exist for, but they don't know how to give them money or what they're good at so people can pay them for their services and time. And so really they get stuck there. And they're kind of limited to just kind of doing brand deals and advertising other people's products or services. And so that's the awareness piece. If you're just doing social media posts and you're not having any longer conversations, um, that's the side that you're stuck on. The next part is your engagement piece. Now, the engagement piece is my computer frozen? Ain't this a nothing? Um, your engagement piece is more or less this is where you are going to have longer conversations where you're sharing some of your expertise with your audience. And so that entails, maybe podcasting, maybe longer form how to posts. If you have a low ticket service that people can actually do themselves, if you post a video telling them how, a quick video showing them how to do it, you establish yourself as somebody that knows what they're talking about. Plus, they have that trust with you now. And so you've helped them solve a problem. And now there's a little of engagement. Maybe they comment and say, thank you. This video really helped. Great. Let us know if there's anything else we can help out with. Or on the other side of it, hey, we tried this thing and it didn't necessarily work out the way that, we're having troubles here, here, and here. Oh, okay. So you're having troubles here, here, and here. Um, let's see about give us a call and see if we can come out and help you out with stuff. So that's the next side of this thing is it's the starting the conversation. And from my experience with some of the businesses I've worked with, the conversation piece took the form of newsletters, you know, monthly newsletters. Hey, we're checking in, letting you know how things are, blah, 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 blah. And, these are some things that we have going on. Here's some other services that you may align with. It's this time of year. Don't forget to do this, this, this. You know, here's a recipe here's a recipe that we use in our house. Maybe your family could use it. Things that are getting people to involve, that are getting people to engage with you on some level. That's the next side of this traffic triangle. I'm having trouble with my computer, y'all. So please bear with me here. All right, there we go. So those are the kind of things that you do in your engagement thing. Mentioned YouTube. YouTube is an engagement thing, and YouTube actually can cover two sides of that traffic triangle, because you can have the shorter form videos to let people know that you exist, and longer form videos to actually have longer conversations with people. And so you can cover two sides of it. For business owners, using YouTube looks different than it does for your influencers. Your influencers can do Mr. Beast stuff where they're like, we're dropping this Lamborghini into a shredder. And you click on it because you don't have anything better to do or you just got time to kill. And you watch them shred a $250,000 car. and you're like, wow, this is stupid. And I can't believe I wasted my time watching it, but he got your eyeballs. And they use that time to trap your eyeballs, show you ads, and make money off of that piece of it. But business owners are going to use it a little bit differently because, the other side of the Mr. Beast thing is he actually sells products, and I can't hate on him for that, but he actually does sell a lot of products on on that platform, and so you have the capability to do the same thing. And I've seen straight up regular business owners have a lot of success with smaller YouTube audiences. And when I say a smaller YouTube audience, I'm talking about maybe 10,000 people, maybe 5,000. If you're a local business and you have 5,000 people in your local area watching you on YouTube, that's a lot of people. Let's not get it twisted. But I've seen people that have other underlying businesses get a modest following and have business from it because they established themselves as experts in there. Scotty Kilmer's one, where Scotty Kilmer is a mechanic and he just does a lot of mechanic work in his driveway. But people contact him and ask him, "Hey, is this car good? Is this make and model car a good purchase? How much should I ask for it?" And then he posts little informational videos on how to do basic car maintenance kind of stuff, so people could do it at their house. But he has a business that's underpinning the YouTube account, and he has a couple of million followers, so he leverages it into some big returns. So what I'm saying is this: YouTube is an amplifier because it's free right now, and the algorithm is free. Now you can pay to amplify it and boost stuff out there, but at the end of the day, um, you start creating the content, you build your audience, people are engaged in what you're saying, you can do a heck of a whole lot with that small audience. And YouTube is a great engagement piece. But podcasts are another engagement piece where people end up having longer conversations with their audience or talking about details of what they do, things where people are listening and getting information from you. These are the engagement things that businesses can implement. And so it's figuring out what the engagement strategy looks like for you and what makes sense for you. And so that's kind of what I'm here to do. Um, and so that's kind of what I do with businesses is figure out, okay, we have the awareness, now let's get the engagement. And then the next piece is your follow up. And this is your back end piece. These are the things that take customers and turn them into clients. Because for me, there's a difference between a customer and a client. A customer will buy your service one time, and a customer is liable to do a lot of price shopping for you. Or again, they take your product and price shop it against all these other offers, and they make a decision on whether your product aligns with what they think it's worth. And so there's a lot of back and forth, and customers can turn, it's going strictly after customers can turn into a dogfight. So I differentiate between customers and clients. A customer will buy one time, a client will continue to purchase from you because they connect with you, they like your product or service, maybe they like something about an aspect of your business. And so that back end, that is the last part to the traffic triangle. So you have your awareness piece, which is short form social media content, your engagement piece, which is a little bit longer form, and then your back end. And your back end can be email. That's where a lot of business gets done. And I think people really discount the power of email lists and email marketing. And so but whatever your back end, you're basically it's what you do once they contact you for services. What do you do? And that's going to be unique to a lot of different businesses. Some people are more online, some businesses are more online, others they don't have anything to do with the online space at all. And that's fine. What do you do once the client contacts you? And what do you do to convert them from a customer to a client? So that back end piece is the piece that I'm actually working on with CMA because the back end is too simplified for what we're trying to do because we've expanded so much that I need a more complex back end side of things. And I'm working out the processes now. For a lot of businesses, they have great back end. So once the client contacts you, you have your whole process, boom, 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 and you start moving forward. But the engagement piece may not be there. And so you have to work really, really hard on that piece of it, you're always in a constant mode of feeling like you're constantly having to tell the world what you do and find all these different avenues to implement it because you don't have a solid you know, well, the awareness piece is what I'm saying. You don't have a solid awareness piece. And so you're constantly working hard to let people know that you even exist. Or a lot of people know you exist, but a lot of them aren't turning into clients because they're having a hard time establishing that trust with you because you haven't really proven to them that you know what you're talking about or that you can solve their problems. And so that's kind of a fall down on that uh, engagement side. Like they don't have that level of trust with you. Or once you get clients, they're all pleased, but you just don't have enough of them. And the implementation of the service goes smooth, but a lot of the marketing stuff isn't there. And that's missing the other two sides, and you have a very strong back end. Um, and businesses are anywhere along the range, you know, anywhere along the line of that, on the continuum of that. Um, you can have fantastic awareness where you have great conversation, you have super engaging social media posts and a great email marketing campaign, and people subscribe to your newsletter, but you just can't convert them. Then you got to work on the back end. What happens when it's time to switch from okay, you're interested to making the offer and getting them converted? Again, a ton of social media followers but no money coming in. That means that you need to work on your back end piece of it and convert them from onlookers to clients. And so that's how that thing works. And so anywhere along that continuum you can be reserved, you can be sitting at any part of that continuum. So first part's awareness, second part's engagement, last part is conversion. Okay. So with CMA, the challenge was the social media presence was there. Coach is amazing with managing his Instagram account, and he has a lot of followers on Instagram and on the main Facebook page. Um, that is the piece that really is there. The piece we're building out is the engagement piece. So we're doing podcasting and things like that, really trying to get Coach to share his expertise and find the best platform to do it. And so, and the consistency with the podcast, we're working on that piece. You know, we're both super busy. And so, sitting down and having that time to do it is the difficult part, but we're trying to get a lot more consistent with it. And I'm also working to get the conversion piece a little bit more solid, the back end piece, making sure that we have an entire system to onboard clients so that people aren't confused about what we're offering to them. And so those are the pieces that we're working on. If you're listening right now, um, you know, comment and let me know what part are you, what, you know, maybe what part you're struggling with because, you know, no business is perfect and everybody has the opportunity to grow. So just let me know and maybe it's something we can sort out on the live stream. Um, so we'll talk about different business models that I've seen and kind of discuss. And I'm not going to name names, so you're not going to get any of that kind of juicy gossip on that end. But what I will do is talk about real world examples that I've seen of utilizing the traffic triangle and missteps with the traffic triangle. And so, what I'm going to do is um, yeah, I'm not even gonna take a break. I'll just keep going. All right. So I hope y'all with me on that one. Um, one business I've interacted with, um, the piece that they had was the delivery. The delivery was good. Um, they were in the food service business. And the delivery of it was pretty solid. When clients came in, they got their meal, they were pretty happy with it. But the other two sides of the triangle weren't existent. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that the marketing side of things, the awareness side of things, did not have, let me see how I can put it, it didn't have any personal touch to it. It was, you know, kind of done for you marketing from a big box thing, and they weren't necessarily connected with the local market, and they didn't really post content that was exactly related to you know, the vibe of the establishment. And unfortunately, um, you know, since people weren't really, you know, since they didn't really feel any connection with the social media posts, the audience wasn't there, if that makes sense. You know, if you have a restaurant and you're trying to raise awareness, what's the best way to raise awareness to your restaurant? I mean, in my mind, you're going to want to post how good your food is, what you specialize in, and showing people enjoying your food and maybe specials and things along those lines. Just really, that kind of basic stuff is enough to get people interested. The concept is, if you're opening a burger stand tomorrow, what's the most important thing you need? If you're opening up a burger stand and you want to be successful, what's the most important thing that you need? And a lot of times people will say, well, we need a great location and we need great advertising and we need signs and we need, you know, Michelin chef and all this other stuff. If you're opening up a burger stand, the thing you need more than anything else is a hungry audience. You have to find people that are hungry and wanting to buy what you're selling. That's the most important component. And if you don't have that, it's very hard to sell your service or product to people that aren't interested. And so, if you're opening up a burger stand, the most important part is finding a hungry audience. Once you figure out where the hungry audience is, you can set up shop and you can sell everything. If you find where all the hungry construction workers are and you put your cart right out in front of where the hungry construction workers are, you're always going to have business. Regardless of how the quality is, people are going to be looking to get their needs met first. And so you can beef up the quality and deliver a high quality product, and then you can start expanding. But you need to find that audience first. And so one of the challenges is with the traffic triangle is people don't spend enough time in that awareness phase to let people know that they exist. And then they also don't spend enough time in that engagement phase to make sure that people know you exist and know what purpose you serve. Those sides are very important. So the short form content on social media where it's just posts, and the longer form is where you're actually having podcasts and discussions and videos and newsletters and all that other stuff to get people to engage with you on a longer term. Those pieces are important. And so the piece that was missing with this specific business was the other sides of the triangle. So they had the back end down. The chefs were good. They cooked good food. People come in and they were pretty satisfied. They had a couple of hiccups, but they were pretty satisfied across the board, and they were working to get better with that delivery side of things. But the delivery was there. Once people came in the restaurant, they got fed. But the other side was getting people to the restaurant and then establishing that restaurant as somewhere that was a good place to eat. Those pieces were missing. And so as a result, they struggled getting clients. They struggled getting enough traffic in the door for the other stuff because not enough people knew about them. And it wasn't built to last. And we're holding out hope that, I'm always holding out hope that this reaches the right ears and we can sit down and talk and figure out how we implement this the right way moving forward because I'm here to help with that stuff. But it is what it is. That's one way that's if you have a strong delivery but you don't have the other pieces, you're not getting the traffic. Okay. Um, I've seen social media influencers, and this is the crazy part. So people that have these huge followings on social media, and then you see interviews and they're talking about I'm broke. They don't have any money because they haven't found a way to leverage their social media stardom into anything. And that means that they have the awareness piece. People know that they exist and people follow them and people are interested in them for aesthetic purposes. Maybe they're a model, maybe they can sing, maybe they can do X, Y, and Z, but they haven't figured out how to take that side of things and convert them into people that are going to give them money or people that are going to book them. And so figuring out that side of things, that's where you have the strong awareness piece, but your engagement is lacking. And when your engagement is lacking, it's hard to convert people because all it is surface level. You can't progress them through. And so a lot of those people that have these huge followings, yeah, they got major followings, but they don't know what to do with it. See it a lot with young athletes specifically. They have huge followings on social media, but not a sense of what to do with this huge following. that, to convert it into somebody that's going to pay you money to do stuff, or somebody that's going to, um, pay you money to sponsor their product, especially with the NIL stuff. There's unlimited opportunities for it, but figuring out how to leverage that huge social media following into somebody that's going to pay you to promote their product. That's the piece that they don't have, because there's no engagement piece there. And there's nothing to let them know, hey, this person can be the face of our brand. Hey, I want to buy this shirt with this person's brand on it. They ain't got that piece set up. And so that's the really challenging part. And so they have no relationship, and there's no trust built with that audience. Here's the thing. And I see it. One of the things is, and I don't really like this person that I'm about to name, but I understand how they operate. And I see, your Dr. Phil's and your Dr. Oz's. They can always sell you their book. And they figured out the traffic triangle. They make a post and people engage with it. Dave Ramsey does the same thing. People engage with it. They have ongoing conversations, sometimes arguments. They have television shows where people can come on and talk to them and engage with them and build trust with them and see them as an authority. And then when it's time to sell a product, they have a very direct way to get you from, okay, I'm going to go on here and listen to what Dave Ramsey has to say. Okay, I'm going to call on to the show. Now there's a program, there's a book, there's some kind of product underpinning all of this, and I want to buy his book. That's how they do it, bro. And so when you see successful businesses that have implemented and mastered that game, it's a very powerful thing. And I think one of the more interesting versions of that engagement to conversion piece is how they've structured, infomercials. Infomercials are an amazing example of how they've done that. And I know people feel some kind of way about infomercials, but they are pretty effective, because I'm gonna be honest with you. How many of y'all have a George Foreman grill in your house or have had one? It worked. Those commercials in the 90s worked in some level. Either you saw the commercial directly, or you just heard about George Foreman grills from somebody else and you went out and bought one. I got 2 George Foreman grills in my house, and they get used very infrequently. Air fryers are the same thing. A lot of people got air fryers, food dehydrators, all these tools, all these things that were infomercial bait. You got them in your house. You got a juicer somewhere in your house. You used it like maybe 3 or 4 times. These things were not common appliances, um, for a lot of people for a long time, and now they're always in your house. You know, and that's kind of a tip of the cap to how infomercials work. They do a good job of letting you know this product exists, and then wrapping you into content that explains why you need this product in your life. Look, man, I got a bunch of fruit in my fridge and I need to make it juice. Well, we got a juicer for you. That's how they operate. That's how they maneuver. And so um, it's really kind of an interesting thing. And that piece, the infomercial piece, ties together the awareness side of the triangle and the engagement side of the triangle, because you're aware the product exists, and then they have a show that shows you why you need that product and engages you as a customer. It says, okay, and if you want it, here's our back end. Go ahead and give us a call or log on to this, and you got 15 minutes to take advantage of this deal. And that's how it works. It's crazy, but it is what it is. So that is your traffic triangle. And if your business is struggling, if you're struggling to find your footing, um, you're struggling to find your footing with a lot of these business ideas, that's where you need to start. You need to figure out where you are along this continuum and say, okay, I can deliver the services pretty consistently. I don't have a problem with that. Once I get people to contact me, it's not a big deal to convert them into customers once they realize that my product is good. The problem is I have a hard time finding the people. Great. Then the side of your traffic triangle you need to work on is your engagement piece. Okay. Or I got a lot of followers. People are following me and they're responding to me, and I even got some brand offers. But golly, I'm trying to figure out how to take all these followers and turn them into clients. Hmm. Okay. So they're engaging with your longer form content, but you can't really figure out how to take that next step and turn them into clients. So that tells me that your back end you need to get some work on that piece of it and figure out what your system is to get their engagement. Okay, you got their engagement. Now that you have the engagement, how does them engaging with you convert into a sale? You have to figure out the pathway to that. Okay. Or, man, once they come in, yeah, we serve them good. But the problem is, I guess I'm repeating myself. So I'm gonna try to figure out the other piece. Or we get lots of eyeballs on our social media stuff. Like the Facebook posts, people love them, they share them, they look at them. But golly, and once we get them, when they decide they want to become a client, we got them, and it's really good. But there's a gap in between where we got to do a lot of hard selling to get them to that point. If you're doing a lot of hard selling, then maybe you need to look at your engagement piece of it and establishing your trust. Figure out the way to get people to trust you and build that relationship with you, so the sell isn't so hard, it doesn't feel so difficult. And so these are the different sides of things. So that's the traffic triangle piece of it. I really hope that y'all are able to utilize it, and if you need help, um, you need assistance with it, I Sell Words is here to help out with it. We can book an unstuck meeting, a sticking points meeting, and figure out where you're stuck with the traffic triangles, and then an unstuck meeting to start implementing that side of the traffic triangle. And so that's how I can contribute to this. And let me go ahead and post my email so that you know how to get in contact with me. So if you want to get unstuck, hit me up at mail@isellwords.net. That's mail@isellwords.net. That's a great way to reach out to me, and then we can start scheduling your sticking point meeting, and from there move on to your unstuck session, so that we can figure out what side of the traffic triangle you need a little bit of help on and get that piece in place. Um, a good example of it with a business that I've worked with. And like I said, I don't like naming names and I'm not going to, but we figured out the best way for them to get clients and drum up business is newsletters. Like newsletters were going nuts to the point where it's like, okay, we're underwater here. No newsletter this month, or dial back on the newsletters, because the newsletters, every time one went out, business would spike. And people started anticipating the newsletters because the newsletters did have helpful hints in them. And they had stuff like recipes and things in them that people wanted to refer back to give it some stickiness. That is a little bit of a gem that I'll toss out there. If you're doing a newsletter, you bet it's beneficial to have some kind of recipe or some kind of word teaser or some kind of word game, so that newsletter has a little bit of stickiness, so they have to refer back to it. Printed newsletters especially, but you can do the same thing with email newsletters, where they're constantly going back like, oh, I need to go get this recipe, that recipe looked good. They're going back and scrubbing through your entire newsletter and reading all the other stuff, and then the recipe is at the bottom. And while they're scrubbing through it, they're like, oh, I need to call for a checkup on this, or I really need this. And so they're seeing the other products or services you have available in the process of just simply going back and getting that recipe. Because humans don't really think in a straight line a lot of times. And I'm saying this as somebody who has ADHD. Um, People don't normally think in a straight line. And so the reason why you want that newsletter to have a little bit of stickiness, and it can be a great engagement tool for you, is because people refer back to it if you put some nuggets in there, things that they can come back and retrieve, maybe in how to, with some step by step instructions that is kind of at the bottom of the newsletter, and they have to scroll through it or flip a couple of pages to get to it. And in the process, they see other products or services that you have. But that was a lever I was able to pull and implement, and it worked out really good. We're working on other elements, other things that we can implement to help out with that piece of it. But a newsletter was a great pathway for this specific business. And they collect emails anyway, and they have people that sign up for the mailing list. Why not leverage it? Um, I don't know if this is specifically related. It is tied to the engagement piece, but I do need to emphasize um, your mailing list is gold, and it's very important. It's probably one of the most important components of your business, and a lot of businesses tend to overlook them. They overlook developing them. They overlook putting people on them. They let them get old. They don't utilize them to email their client base with new products, services, offers for nonprofits. It's going to be donations or programs that they have coming up. They don't use the newsletter the right way, and it's a powerful engagement tool, and it doesn't cost a heck of a lot of money. And a lot of times, it doesn't even require a heck of a whole lot of man hours. If you hire somebody to write it, it doesn't require a heck of a whole lot. And all you got to do is mail it out to the list. You know, I'm a constant contact partner, I think. I don't know if I'm still a partner or not, but I'm with Constant Contact, and with Constant Contact, it's very, very simple. Even as a client just walking in the door, you pay 20, 30 bucks a month. You store your emails there, and every single time that you need to go back and reach your entire list, all you got to do is just mail something out. It's right at your fingertips. And an email newsletter is a great way for people to stay up to date with what your business is up to. And really simple engagement, probably one of the simplest engagement things that people overlook. They think that newsletters are played out. They think that everything has to be email, and that's not true. There are businesses that invest a lot of money in printed newsletters because printed newsletters bring them in that much more money. Something to be aware of. But easy engagement. Another easy engagement thing is a YouTube channel. I've discussed it where, I mentioned Scotty Kilmer. That's a very easy conversation to have. If you're solving somebody's problem on a YouTube channel and they say thank you, now it doesn't take long before you got to do is put an offer in front of them. And if they're available to take advantage of that offer, you've built that trust. They trust you, and they're willing to buy from you. I can tell you a lot of camera YouTubers that I have a level of trust with, where I've used their affiliate link, clicked on it, they got paid a few bucks, and I bought a camera off Amazon. And then maybe a capture card off Amazon, so they got another couple of bucks from it. But that level of trust and saying, hey, this camera can fulfill your needs, and I trust this person because they've given me good information before, boom, it's nothing to go into that next step. And that's what the engagement piece is with YouTube. Podcasts sell the same thing. Alex Jones used to sell all kinds of stuff to his audience. Joe Rogan has the ability to sell all kinds of stuff to their audience. A lot of podcasters stick in these commercials and stuff, and a lot of times it's a paid agreement between the advertiser and them that they'll put the commercial on the podcast, and people will respond to it. It's the same reason why you see those things on television. The podcast is the engagement piece, and they use the podcast to raise awareness for their product. So they're tackling two sides of the traffic triangle. I know you guys see me do these live streams, bro. I jump on here and do these live streams because I want to have conversations with y'all and really get y'all into my brain and how my brain maneuvers around marketing stuff. And it's an engagement piece, but also it serves a dual purpose, because then I use the live streams and chop them up into podcast episodes and post those on YouTube, and I get more eyeballs on it. I get an international audience. And then I take those podcasts and drop them into one of the AI clip generators, and it chops up those video podcasts, and then I can post those to raise awareness on social media platforms with short form videos on TikTok and Reels and YouTube Shorts. I be knowing my stuff sometimes, bro. But that's how I use it. I create something super long form and do one long form thing and repurpose it and use it for a couple of weeks to a couple of months. It's not a secret, but there's plenty of tools out there that will help you do it. The one I like right now is Opus Pro. That's OPUS Pro, Pro, think, um, is a great service. You drop a long form video into it and it chops it up into like 10, 20, 30 different segments that you can utilize for your TikToks and your Instagrams and Facebook reels and stuff on LinkedIn. It's a great tool. It's a powerful tool. People don't know about it, but it's out there. And it helps you, you can batch your content. And if you have a 2 hour window to record stuff, you can record for 2 hours and then chop up that 2 hour conversation into smaller micro conversations to raise awareness on the different social media platforms that exist. It doesn't have to take a long time, but it does require the effort on some level. And so I talked about with micro budgets, and I need to circle back. I need to spin the block on that one. So when you're operating off a micro budget, one of the challenges is you don't have the money to do boosted posts. You don't have the money to buy ads on, Facebook or Google. You don't have the money to do that stuff. And so you're going to have to hit it a little bit harder to build your audience. And you do that through valuable content and valuable information. People either log on to you or follow you to be entertained or educated or both. That's why they're checking it. That's why they're checking in with you. The reason why I could sit there and watch them heat up a copper ball and drop it on different things, like we're going to drop this super hot copper ball into some jello, and I'll sit there and watch and scroll through all those videos, or watch, we got this thing that smashes, this hydraulic press, and we just smash stuff on our channel. Sign me up, man. I'll sit here and scroll through those videos for 30 minutes to an hour. Let my brain cool off. I'm entertained on some level by that stuff. I have no idea why, but I am. Same reason why you log in. Same reason why you listen to your true crime podcast and listen to very grisly descriptions of human death and being dismembered and stuff, and very disturbing things and tableaus of violence. The reason why people tune into that stuff is because it's entertaining to them on some level. It engages them on some level. You hear the word engagement? Yeah. That's why people listen to that stuff, because it's engaging to them. So you got to figure out how you're going to be engaging to them. And here's the thing. The mundane stuff that is fascinating to somebody else. It may solve a problem. You may be an expert on how HVAC systems work. Talking to somebody very specific. You may be an expert on how HVAC systems work. And so it's boring knowledge to you. But for a person that's looking to either fix their HVAC and do it DIY, or looking to make a good purchase decision when replacing a system, your knowledge is gold to them. It is. I listen to a lot of YouTubers who just talk about doing auto mechanic stuff. And I don't like working on cars, but I'll listen to it because that stuff is engaging and entertaining to me. So, as the business owner, you have to find the knowledge that you have that people don't have. And for sometimes you get so locked into this concept of what you know, and you think it's boring, but it's not. It's fascinating to somebody else. They're just looking for the platform for you to share it because it's going to solve a problem for them. And that's that engagement piece of it. So, all right. Looking at my time, I've been on here rambling for about 48 minutes. So I'm going to do a recap and wrap this thing up. Okay. So in recapping, today we talked about the traffic triangle and the three sides of it. And we talked about, where you may be coming up short in your business idea or concept with that traffic triangle. All right. First side of that traffic triangle, and again, it's in no specific order, but the first side we talked about was the awareness side. These are your basic social media posts, things that let people know that you actually exist, that your business or product exists. Your next side is your awareness side. Your awareness side lets people know that you're expert and you know what you're talking about. It builds trust, and it also establishes what your product does for them or how it can solve a problem for them, or have an on or spark an ongoing conversation that results in a conversion down the road. But the that engagement piece is important because that's the part where they learn how to trust you. So we have awareness, we have engagement, and then the last part is the conversion piece. And the conversion is the back end. So they know you exist, they trust you. So how do they buy from you? And how do you deliver the service or product to them? That's the conversion piece. And so if you don't have those three pieces, you're going to have a business that either you have a bunch of eyeballs on your stuff and people look at your content and they like and share, but you have a difficult time converting them into clients. Or you have people that once they come to you, um, you can really fulfill their needs, but you're just not getting enough of them. And so that's the awareness piece. Or once they're aware of you, to get them to the back end of your conversion piece, you got to super hard sell and do a lot of hard convincing. And it's feeling like it's hand to hand combat all the time. That's your engagement piece because they don't necessarily trust you with their money. Those are the three sides of the traffic triangle. And there's so many different tools that allow you to really implement those pieces. Like again, there's no shortage of social media platforms that allow you to build awareness. You just got to find your audience and let people know you exist. There's also no shortage of social media platforms that allow you to have ongoing conversations, longer form videos, podcasts, newsletters, all that stuff that people come back to learn about what you do and start building trust with you. There's no shortage of services that offer that kind of stuff. In the conversion piece, there's always websites. I mean, you can make your conversion as simple as phone calls and scripts, how what you say when you're on a phone call and your process once they decide that they want to do business with you. And so, but sometimes you need somebody to help you out, and that's what we're here for is with I Sell Words. We can book you in for a sticking points meeting and then use the unstuck sessions to start building out those other sides of your traffic triangle. If you're interested, you guys know how to reach me. So that's all I got. I thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you for kind of listening to my morning ramble about the traffic triangle. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.